All right, so picture this. You're on the verge of breaking a 35-year-old NFL rushing record.
Wow.
You're just 101 yards away.
Okay.
The catch. It's the last game of the regular season. Your team's already locked into a playoff spot.
Oh, interesting.
Do you risk injury or sit it out?
Ooh, tough decision.
That's the dilemma Saquon Barkley faced.
Yeah.
And it's just one of the many crazy storylines surrounding this year's NFL award finalists.
It really is. It's especially fascinating because the finalists were announced before the playoffs even started. So it adds like a whole other layer of intrigue to the postseason.
Definitely. So you've got this whole stack of articles here.
Yeah, you do.
Analyzing the finalists for all 8 major awards.
Yeah.
MVP, offensive and defensive players of the year, those rookie categories, and of course the coaches.
Of course.
Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Let's do it.
Okay, let's start with the MVP race.
Okay.
5-way battle.
Yeah.
Honestly, any of these quarterbacks could make a strong case.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a tight race for sure. You've got Josh Allen, who's I think become the prototype for the modern NFL quarterback. His ability to just make plays both inside and outside the pocket makes him a nightmare for defenses.
And it's not even just about raw talent with Allen. He led the Bills to another AFC East title, showing he can elevate his team to contender status.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, you have Saquon Barkley, almost 2,005 rushing yards. We haven't seen that kind of dominance since Barry Sanders.
Wow.
But that decision to sit out the final game,
Yeah.
some people say it cost him the MVP.
I can definitely see both sides. On the one hand, protecting himself for the playoffs makes sense.
Right.
But on the other hand, that record was within reach.
It was so close.
It really raises the question of how much individual achievement factors into the MVP voting.
It does. It's a balancing act between individual brilliance and team success. Which brings us to Joe Burrow. He almost hit 5,000 passing yards, 43 touchdowns.
Yeah.
But the Bengals missed the playoffs entirely.
How does that even happen?
Right. It's a good reminder that football is a team sport. Burrow put up incredible numbers. But ultimately, the Bengals' shortcomings in other areas held them back.
Well, speaking of defying expectations, how about Jared Goff and the Lions?
Oh, man.
Who would have thought they'd be the NFC's #1 seed?
I know Goff's resurgence has been one of the most compelling storylines of the season. A lot of people had written him off, after his time with the Rams.
Yeah.
But he's proven he can be a top-tier quarterback when surrounded by the right talent and system.
And to round out our MVP contenders, we have Lamar Jackson, 2-time MVP already, aiming for his 3rd trophy. He had a monster year statistically and almost single-handedly kept the Ravens afloat at times.
Jackson's athleticism and playmaking ability are undeniable.
For sure.
But his durability remains a concern, Voters will likely weigh his impact when healthy against the games he missed due to injury.
It's going to be a tough call. 5 quarterbacks, all worthy contenders. What do you think will be the deciding factor for voters when it comes to choosing the MVP?
I think it's going to come down to narrative. Who embodies the spirit of most valuable to their team? It's not always about who has the flashiest stats, but rather who made the biggest impact on their team's success.
Okay, let's shift gears to Offensive Player of the Year. We see some familiar names. Barkley and Burrow are both up for this one too. But we've also got some new contenders who made some serious noise this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Jamar Chase's season was one for the record books. He achieved the receiving triple crown, leading the league in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Plus, he was a unanimous All-Pro selection, which is incredibly rare.
Now that's dominance.
Yeah.
And then there's Derrick Henry back in the running after a monstrous 1,921 yard, 16 touchdown season with his new team, the Ravens.
Henry is a force of nature. He just keeps churning out these incredible seasons, proving he's one of the most consistent and powerful running backs in the league.
So is Offensive Player of the Year just a numbers game, or is there something more to it?
Well, stats definitely play a huge role, but I think voters will also look at how each player fit within their team's offensive scheme. Did they elevate the players around them? Did they make game-changing plays in crucial moments? Those factors all come into play.
Okay, let's switch sides of the ball now and talk defense.
Okay.
This year's Defensive Player of the Year finalists are a diverse group: linebackers, edge rushers, a lockdown corner,
Right.
proving that defensive dominance comes in many forms.
Absolutely. Let's start with Zack Baun. His transformation from special teams contributor to all-pro linebacker is a testament to his work ethic and the Eagles coaching staff.
Talk about a breakout season.
Right.
And then we have Myles Garrett, the reigning DPOI, looking to defend his title with another impressive 14-sack season.
Yeah, Garrett is consistently one of the most disruptive forces in the league.
Hmm.
But some critics would argue his impact this year wasn't as, game-changing as we've seen in the past.
So it sounds like voters will have to decide if they're rewarding peak performance or consistency.
Yeah, exactly.
Then there's Trey Hendrickson, who led the league with a whopping 17.5 sacks. But as we discussed earlier, the Bengals struggled as a team.
Yeah.
Will that hurt his chances?
I think it's certainly a point of contention. Individual stats don't always tell the whole story. Hendrickson was a beast. But the Bengals' defense as a whole was inconsistent.
Yeah.
Voters might question whether his dominance truly translated to wins.
Okay, let's move on to a player who's already become a household name. Surtain II. He locked down opposing receivers all season long, allowing a ridiculously low 61.1 passer rating when targeted.
Surtain is a true shutdown corner.
Oh, yeah.
That passer rating against him is elite. It shows he's not just making tackles, he's actively preventing completions and dictating the flow of the game.
To round out our defensive powerhouses, we have TJ Watt, another former DPOY, who's back in the running after missing time due to injury.
Yeah, Watt's impact is undeniable. He's a game wrecker when healthy, but the question is whether he played enough games to be considered the most valuable defender.
So 5 phenomenal defenders, each with a unique skill set and impressive resume. What are some of the key factors voters will be weighing when making their decision?
Well, it's a multifaceted evaluation. They'll look at the raw stats, sacks, tackles, interceptions. But they'll also consider a player's impact on their team's defensive scheme and overall performance.
Okay.
Did they consistently make game-changing plays? Did they elevate the play of their teammates?
Yeah.
These are all crucial factors. Now let's shift our focus to the future of the league, the rookies who burst onto the scene this year.
The rookie classes were absolutely stacked with talent. Let's start with the offensive side, where we saw some historic performances.
Yeah.
Brock Bowers, a tight end shattering the rookie reception record with 112 catches for 1,194 yards.
Wow.
That's unheard of.
Bowers redefined what it means to be a tight end in today's NFL. He's not just a big target.
Right.
He's a dynamic playmaker who can line up all over the field.
He's going to be a problem for defenses for years to come.
Oh, yeah.
And speaking of game changers, how about Jaden Daniels?
Oh, yeah.
Leading the Commanders to an 8-win improvement.
Daniels exceeded all expectations. He showed poise and leadership beyond his years, and his dual-threat ability kept defenses guessing all season.
And let's not forget about the wide receivers. Malik Neighbors with the Giants and Brian Thomas Jr. with the Jaguars, both putting up huge numbers for rookies.
Yeah, those two are future stars. They have the size, the speed, the route-running abilities to become elite receivers in this league.
And then there's Bo Nix, who finally helped the Broncos break their playoff drought after 9 long years.
Nix's development throughout the season was remarkable. He really matured as a quarterback.
Yeah.
And his ability to make clutch throws in key moments was instrumental in the Broncos' success.
So many talented rookies on the offensive side.
Yeah.
But the defensive rookies were just as impressive.
Absolutely. Cooper DeJean, the Eagles' corner, was a lockdown defender in the slot. He shut down some of the league's best receivers.
His coverage skills were phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's no wonder the Eagles' defense was so dominant.
And speaking of dominant, how about Braden Fisk leading all rookies with 8.5 sacks?
Wow.
That's incredible production for a defensive tackle.
He was an absolute force in the interior defensive line.
Yeah.
And then there's another standout corner, Quinion Mitchell, also with the Eagles.
It seems like the Eagles have a knack for finding talented defensive backs.
Yeah, they do.
Mitchell's ball skills and physicality made him a nightmare for opposing receivers.
We also saw some impressive pass rushers making noise, Chop Robinson with the Dolphins and Jared Verse with the Texans.
Yeah, Robinson's athleticism and explosiveness off the edge made him a constant threat to quarterbacks. And Verse, despite playing on a struggling team, led all rookies in pressures and quarterback hits.
Both of those guys have the potential to be perennial Pro Bowlers.
Yep.
So much young talent on both sides of the ball. It's an exciting time to be an NFL fan.
It certainly is. These rookies are the future of the league, and I can't wait to see how they continue to develop.
All right, let's move on from the players and talk about the coaches who orchestrate all this success. This year's Coach of the Year race is fascinating. We've got coaches who led incredible turnarounds, maintained consistent excellence, and guided their teams to deep playoff runs.
It's a tough choice, but let's start with Dan Campbell, the man who finally brought the Lions out of the darkness and into the NFC's top seed.
Hard Knocks really painted him as a passionate leader.
Oh, yeah.
And clearly that translated to success on the field. He instilled a belief in that team that was missing for years.
Campbell's leadership was undeniable.
Yeah.
But we also have to acknowledge Kevin O'Connell, who guided the Vikings to a great season despite losing their starting quarterback.
Oh.
That's a testament to his coaching ability and the team's depth.
It really speaks to his ability to adapt and get the most out of his players no matter the circumstances. And speaking of overcoming obstacles, how about Sean Payton getting the Broncos back to the playoffs after all those cap woes?
Peyton is a proven winner. He brought a sense of stability and a winning mentality to a team that desperately needed it.
Then there's Dan Quinn, who completely transformed the Commanders, taking them from a 4-win team to a 12-win contender.
Quinn's defensive expertise was on full display this year. He built one of the league's most formidable defenses, and that was the foundation for the Commanders' success.
And rounding out our Coach of the Year contenders, we have the perennial Andy Reid.
Of course.
The Chiefs are back as the AFC's top seed.
As always.
And Reid's offensive genius continues to shine.
Reid is a master of innovation and adaptation. He consistently finds ways to maximize his players' strengths and stay ahead of the curve in the offensive game.
So 5 incredibly talented coaches, all deserving of recognition. What do you think voters will prioritize when choosing the Coach of the Year?
Well, I think it's a combination of factors. Wins and losses are always important.
Right.
But voters will also look at the degree of improvement, how a coach navigated challenges, and the overall impact they had on their team's culture and performance.
Now let's dive into a category that often goes overlooked. The Assistant Coach of the Year.
Oh, yeah.
These are the masterminds behind the scenes who play a critical role in shaping their team's success.
These are the unsung heroes, the ones who grind away in the film room and on the practice field, fine-tuning strategies and developing players.
Let's start with Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Bills. He's the architect behind that high-powered offense that made Josh Allen an MVP candidate.
Brady's play calling is creative and aggressive, and he does a fantastic job of putting his players in positions to succeed.
And then there's Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator for the Eagles. He built a defense that was arguably the best in the league, consistently shutting down opponents.
Fangio is a defensive mastermind. His schemes are complex and unpredictable, and he's a master at disguising coverages and blitzes.
Brian Flores, the Vikings defensive coordinator, also deserves recognition. He took a defense that struggled in previous years and turned them into a formidable unit.
Flores brought a new level of intensity and discipline to the Vikings defense. His aggressive approach created havoc for opposing offenses.
Aaron Glenn, the Lions defensive coordinator, oversaw a dramatic improvement in their defense as well.
Glenn's attention to detail and emphasis on fundamentals helped the Lions defense play with more consistency and confidence.
And last but not least, we have Ben Johnson, the Lions offensive coordinator. He was instrumental in Jared Goff's resurgence, designing an offense that maximized his strengths.
Johnson's play calling was a perfect blend of creativity and efficiency. He found ways to get the ball into the hands of the Lions' playmakers and keep defenses off balance.
It's amazing to see the impact these assistant coaches have on their teams. They often don't get the recognition they deserve, but they're truly the unsung heroes of the NFL.
They absolutely are. Their contributions are invaluable, and the success of their teams wouldn't be possible without their hard work and dedication.
All right, now let's shift gears and talk about one of the most inspiring awards in the NFL. The Comeback Player of the Year.
This award recognizes the players who have overcome significant obstacles, injuries, setbacks, personal challenges, to return to the field and perform at a high level.
These are the stories that remind us of the resilience of the human spirit and the power of perseverance.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And this year's finalists has some truly remarkable stories.
Starting with Joe Burrow, who bounced back from a devastating knee injury to have an incredible season.
Burrow's recovery was remarkable. He showed tremendous mental and physical toughness. And his performance on the field was nothing short of exceptional.
He didn't just come back. He came back stronger than ever. And then there's Sam Darnold, who revitalized his career in Minnesota after struggling in previous seasons.
Darnold needed a fresh start.
He did.
The Vikings gave him that opportunity, and he thrived in their system. He played with confidence and composure, proving that he can still be a successful quarterback in this league.
J.K. Dobbins' comeback story is equally impressive. He returned from a season-ending injury to become a key contributor to the Chargers' offense.
Dobbins is an explosive and versatile running back, and his return provided a much-needed boost to the Chargers' ground game.
Christian Gonzalez, the Patriots' cornerback, had a breakout season after a disappointing rookie year.
Gonzalez dedicated himself to improving his technique and understanding of the game,
Right.
and his hard work paid off. He emerged as a shutdown corner, consistently locking down opposing receivers.
And last but certainly not least, we have Damar Hamlin, the Bills safety, who made an emotional return to football after suffering a cardiac arrest on the field last season.
Hamlin's story is one of courage, resilience, and the power of the human spirit. His determination to return to the game he loves is truly inspiring.
His presence on the field is a reminder that there are things in life that are bigger than football, and that the human spirit can overcome even the most daunting challenges.
It's a testament to his strength, his faith, and the unwavering support of his teammates, coaches, and fans.
These 5 finalists represent the very best of what it means to overcome adversity and achieve greatness. Their stories are a source of inspiration for us all.
And now we arrive at the award that transcends the game itself. The Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year Award.
This is the award that truly embodies the spirit of football.
Yeah.
Recognizing players who are not only exceptional athletes, but exceptional human beings as well.
It's about leadership, compassion, and using their platform to make a difference in their communities and the world.
This year's nominees are a truly inspiring group of individuals. Let's start with Travis Kelce, the Kansas City Chiefs tight end. We know him for his on-field antics and celebrations.
Oh, yeah.
But off the field, he's making a real impact on the lives of underserved youth.
Yeah, Kelce's 87 Running Foundation provides resources and opportunities for kids in Kansas City and his hometown of Cleveland. He's not just writing a check, he's actively involved, mentoring kids, inspiring them to reach their full potential.
It's amazing to see how he's using his star power to uplift those who need it most. And speaking of leadership, how about Dak Prescott, the Dallas Cowboys quarterback? He's faced some incredibly tough personal challenges, but has channeled that adversity into a force for good.
Prescott's Faith Fight Finish Foundation, established in honor of his late mother, focuses on fighting cancer, providing mental health resources, and bridging the gap between law enforcement and the community. He's a true advocate for change, not just lending his name, but actively working to make a difference.
His commitment to these causes is truly inspiring. And then there's Calais Campbell, the Baltimore Ravens defensive end, who's been a pillar of strength and support in every community he's played in.
Yeah, Campbell's CRC Foundation focuses on empowering youth through education, mentorship, and financial literacy programs. He's also a vocal advocate for criminal justice reform, working to create a more just and equitable society.
He's a leader on and off the field, using his voice to fight for what's right. And we can't forget about Devin McCourty, the New England Patriots safety, who's been a powerful voice for social justice throughout his career.
McCourty's work with the Players Coalition is making real strides in addressing systemic inequalities. He's a tireless advocate for change, working to create a more inclusive and equitable world.
He's a shining example of how athletes can use their platform to create positive change. And finally, we have Justin Simmons, the Denver Broncos safety, who's quietly but consistently making a difference in the lives of military families and veterans.
Simmons' dedication to supporting those who have served our country is truly commendable. He recognizes the sacrifices they've made and is committed to ensuring they have the resources and support they need.
He's a true role model, demonstrating the importance of giving back and supporting those who have sacrificed so much.
These 5 nominees represent the heart and soul of the NFL. They're not just great players, they're great people who are making a real difference in the world.
They remind us that sports can be a powerful platform for change and that true leadership extends far beyond the field.
It's been an incredible journey exploring all these awards and the amazing stories behind them.
From record-breaking performances to inspiring comebacks, from coaching brilliance to acts of incredible generosity, this NFL season has given us so much to celebrate.
It's a testament to the talent, dedication, and heart of everyone involved in this game.
Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the 2024 NFL Awards finalists. Until next time, keep celebrating the stories that make sports so much more than just a game.